Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys have all been doing okay. We have all had kitty colds. I had a regular cold, they had their kitty colds, and they are still passing it around and around and around. So remember way back when Finny had it, and I think Lucy had it. Marigold still has it a little bit, but she's getting better. Alex got it. He's been sneezing, but he's starting to get better. Now Miss Daisy started sneezing, so she's got it. So they're passing it around and around and around. But Katie is doing very good. She's on the cable box there underneath. And there's Willow. He's doing all right. And believe it or not, that there on the floor is Gus Gus, who little by little is starting to not be terrified of me anymore, which I'm very happy to see. He even came up on the bed this morning and said good morning, which is something he has not done in months. So maybe the trauma of the trip to the vet incident has worn off a little bit, and he's not. And for those who might be new subscribers and didn't know what happened, it was time for his trip to the vet last October to be neutered, and for whatever reason he freaked out and lunged at the window and pulled the blinds and the curtains and the bracket out of the window and slammed into a tabletop stereo that I have and pulled a part of a bookcase and a stereo down on top of him. So he was okay. The room was trashed. He turned out to be okay, but he did get a gash on his head and a bloody nose from the ordeal, and in the process of me trying to catch him, he lacerated my arms up pretty bad, and I had to go to the doctor and get a tetanus shot, but it wasn't bad enough to need stitches, so he didn't cut me that deep. But it was an ordeal, and that happened back in October. And he is just now starting to come and sit in the same room as me. But he still will not go anywhere near the back room where the stereo is. He won't even go in that room. So the poor guy had a very traumatic experience. But I'm very glad to see that he is no longer in constant terror all the time, because I was considering trying to rehome him or giving him to the SPCA or something, because he was so scared all the time. And I didn't want him to have to live like that. But he's finally starting to come around a little bit. So that made me much more at ease. So for now, he'll hang out, even though he's not a super friendly cat. At least he's not living in fear all the time. So that's good. And there, poor Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy's got the sniffles. Yeah. Say, it's your turn, isn't it? You got the kitty cold now. And then you can see that's Mina's tail and Lucy's tail, because they're wrestling. You can see a little bit of their shadow at the front door. They're silly kitties. So we spent most of the day yesterday scrubbing the kitchen and cleaning and disinfecting all the cat boogers that are everywhere from everybody being sick. And between Marigold and Alex, the poor babies, they've been sneezing so much, and the heat's been running because it's been dry. We've had a lot of ice and snow, so the heat's running constantly, and it's been very dry in here. And so the poor babies that are sneezing so much, with Marigold and Alex anyway, that they got a little bit of a bloody nose. And you could see it on the end of their nose was just raw from all the sneezing that they were doing. The poor babies. So they got a little bit of a bloody nose, but then the problem is when they sneeze, it sprays everywhere. So, bless their hearts, they both had a sneezing fit, and my kitchen floor looked like a CSI scene. It was like blood splatter everywhere. So I was like, oh my god. So I had to break out all the disinfectants, right? So between the Lysol fumes and the bleach fumes and everything else, we had to open the window even though it was cold out, so we didn't asphyxiate on the fumes. Right, Sylvester? But we got it all cleaned up and disinfected, and we washed all their stuff. So that's the dryer that just shut off now, if you heard that hum in the background. So I'm just washing the bed sheets and bleaching that, and then I'll wash the comforter. Of course, I can't bleach that because of the color it is, but we'll put a couple of capfuls of vinegar in there. That'll help. I was going to try that Lysol disinfectant that you put in the laundry. What you guys doing? Lucy and Mina are wrestling. But I was going to try that Lysol disinfectant, but I don't know. If any of you guys out there have used it in your laundry, let me know if it works. And if you think it's okay or not, because the only thing I could find in the store was this great big bottle, and they wanted like $8 for it, and I wasn't quite ready to pull the trigger on having a great big bottle of stuff for $8, dollars or $7.99, and then find out that I don't like it, because then I'm stuck and I've wasted $8. So, if you guys have used it and it works, let me know. But in the meantime, usually what I do if I'm trying to get smells out of something is I just put a couple of capfuls of white vinegar. And I put that in with the wash. And that, believe it or not, is pretty good at getting the, if the cats have peed on something, like sometimes they pee on a towel or something like that. And I'll put the regular laundry detergent in there. But I'll also put like a capful of white vinegar. I just get like a regular jug of store brand pure distilled white vinegar, no frills. And I just pour, a couple of capfuls. I take the cap off the bottle and I just pour it into the cap and put that in the wash with it. It's not enough to make your laundry smell like a tossed salad or anything, but it does a pretty decent job at cleaning, getting the smells out of it. So I'm wondering if that's what some of those rinse products really are. I'm tempted one of these days when I'm in the store, I'm going to grab the bottle and just read the back of it and see what the ingredients actually are, because I'm almost curious to see if some of it, the main ingredient is like baking soda or vinegar or something like that that's commonly used in the household, because baking soda does, does a really good job cleaning as well. I'm still getting over my cold, so I use that when I'm cleaning their water dish, their little fountain. When I have to take that apart, I make some baking soda and hot water, and I wash it down really good with that. And that actually works really good at taking all the junk that builds up and stuff like that off of it. And if I have a really tough spot of water, hard water stain or something like that in the fountain, I hit it with some vinegar. And then, of course, if it's really, really stuck, I'll put some baking soda on it and then a little bit of vinegar, and then you get that chemical reaction where it fizzes up and does all that crazy stuff. But sometimes I don't know if it's something that goes on that's released during that chemical reaction, but that seems to break up the calcium stains and stuff pretty good, and then it just scrubs right off. So I do that sometimes. I use that to clean the drains too, if the drain starts to get slow. I'll pour some baking soda down in it, and then pour some white vinegar, and it foams all up and fizzes and carries on. And then I run hot water through, and that usually cleans it up. It's a lot simpler. And then I don't have to worry about if they get in there and try to lick something. The worst thing they're going to lick is baking soda or vinegar, instead of all the chemicals that are in everything else. But some of these hooligans, I have to double think everything I do, because no matter how many precautions I take, they always seem to find a way to get into something. Unless it's behind a closed door, I can't trust them. So I try to do stuff to make sure that it's as toxic free, I guess you could say, as possible, if it's something that they're directly involved in. Now, of course, everywhere, the countertops and stuff like that, I still use Lysol wipes or Clorox wipes or, that kind of stuff. But otherwise, everything has been going okay. There's Miss Katie. And that's Mr. Toes. Got up on top of the round cat thing there. And there's Mr. Willow. And Chunk is snoring in the bed that's behind where Mr. Toes is. And everybody's just relaxing. It's a nice sunny Saturday morning. Or a Sunday morning. I don't even know what day it is anymore. We had a lot of ice and snow. Not tremendous amounts, just enough to be irritating. We were lucky where we are. We only got a few inches. We didn't get like a foot of snow like some places got. It was only, I think, maybe 3 or 4 inches, but it was that annoying. The first round we got was the stuff that was mixed, so it was a little bit of snow, and then it was a little bit of sleet, and then it was back to a little bit of snow, and then it was rain. So then we had issues because then it melted, and we had flooding from all the melting. And a lot of the ways to and from my house got flooded, so I have to go like the extra long way to work, which is a pain in the ass. But you do what you gotta do. And then that all went away, and it was 60 degrees, and then the next day it was like 40 degrees, and then after that it was like 19 degrees. And then we got more rounds of snow, and then the second round we got was really dry and powdery. So that made it easy to clean off the car and get to work. But then what sucks about that dry, powdery stuff is that when it sticks to the roads and you drive over it, it just gets slick. And then before you know it, you got a skating rink you're trying to navigate. Which, four-wheel drive is great, but when it comes to that kind of crap, it don't matter how many wheels you got on the road, you're going to slide, right? So it was a mess. Would not recommend. But, fortunately, that's all over now. Right, Miss Daisy? Poor Miss Daisy's feeling pretty bad. She's all stopped up. We might have to give her a eucalyptus treatment. If I can get her to be calm enough to be in the carrier like Chunk used to do. Chunk is a pro at it with all his sinus troubles. You just get a cat carrier and like a big towel or a blanket. And then you boil water, and you put just a little bit of eucalyptus oil in it, which I happen to have some from like an aromatherapy kit. You don't want to put too much, but just enough to. And then you put the hot water with the eucalyptus so it's steaming is the whole idea. But you got to put it far enough away from the cat carrier that the cat can't reach out and spill it, obviously, because it's hot water. And then you cover the whole carrier in the bowl with a blanket or a towel. And it kind of makes a little steam room for them. And that's sort of the best way to decongest a cat. Because you can't exactly, there's nothing that they can take over the counter that's a decongestant. They just have to sneeze it out. And that's what my vet had recommended doing, was make a little steam room for them. It's kind of like when we put Vicks on us. Only obviously you can't use Vicks because that's, toxic to them. But eucalyptus oil, which is, also toxic if it's put directly on them or in their food. But if it's just vapors that they breathe, for a bit to help open their nose, that's okay. And that's what we did. And that helped Chunk tremendously. So, if poor Miss Daisy stays all congested, I'll probably be doing that this afternoon. See if I can open her poor little nose up. Makes them sneeze a lot, mostly, is what it does. And it kind of, because cats can't blow their nose, so. Kind of like the way Vicks opens our nose up. It's the same sort of situation. Opens up the nasal passages and makes them sneeze. And then they feel much better, and then you spend the rest of the day scraping boogers off the inside of the cat carrier. Because that's what happens, but better out than in, right? Right, Miss Daisy. No, poor baby. There's Miss Marigold underneath. I see you there, Miss Marigold. But anyhow, so at least the snow and the ice is gone, and I'm on the mend, and most of them are on the mend, so we're ready for spring, right, guys? We don't want any more winter. See, winter is dumb. We want springtime. But little by little, I'm hearing more and more songbirds. So spring is coming. And Miss Phoebe, who goes outside, she's the only cat left that goes outside, has brought me over the past, in between all the snow and everything, I guess over the past 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks or so, she has brought me 3, I don't know if they're moles or voles. I have to look and see what the difference is between the two. It almost looks like a mouse at first glance, but it's not a mouse. It's got like a stubby tail and really big front teeth and like digger feet. But she's catching them. So when she does, she brings them and she leaves them on the front porch. As my present, I guess, my offering. Phoebe's a sweetheart. She does stuff like that for me all the time. She leaves me presents. And she usually puts it either right on the front porch, so I see it as soon as I open the door, or she'll put it right in front of the driver's side door on my car. Like where I literally have to step to get in. She lays it right there. She's such a thoughtful kitty. And of course, you know, she works really hard to do it, so you have to make a big deal, because she sits and watches you react to it, you know, and she could tell she's proud, because she's all like puffed up, you know, and happy and meowing and stuff, looking at, you know, like, look what I got you, Mom. And it's like, ew, but you gotta act like all happy, because otherwise, you know, they get upset. So you gotta make a big deal, like, oh my God, what a good girl. Look what you got, Mama. Thank you so much. And then when she's not looking, I pick it up with a shovel and throw it someplace, because it's gross. But, you know, she's a good girl, though. Chunk is snoring. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. What are you doing, Miss Mina? I think Lucy's on the other side. I'm too lazy to get up and look, though. I apologize. But yeah, so it's been a week. I am tired of cleaning off cars and shoveling. The shoveling this past time was no big deal because it was so powdery, but the one before that was that nasty, slushy, crunchy snow where like one shovelful seems to, even though it's like 3 inches of snow, you think it should be super easy to move, and one shovelful weighs like, feels like 10 pounds. It's like... And I gotta laugh because the people at work are like, how come your back hurts? Why do you say your back hurts? I'm like, I'm very sorry. I was just shoveling 15 pounds of Slurpee off of my driveway is what the equivalent of it was. It was just like, ugh. And it wears on your back after a while. Right, guys? I'm waiting to see if Daisy is gonna, like, fall over, because she's literally right on the verge of falling completely asleep sitting up. She's in her sunspot. That's why I have the front door open, even though it's cold outside. This time of day, the sun streams in, and everybody lays in the door to be in the sunspot. And they come into the living room where the sun comes in the windows and does its thing. But other than everybody being sick and all the ice and the snow, we have all been doing good. No complaints, really, so that part is good. I don't know where Lucy and Nina went. They both disappeared. But that's pretty much it, and we are ready for spring. So I hope all you guys have been doing okay, and that everything is all right with you. I thought somebody was going to come down the hallway there for a minute, but I don't see anybody the moment. So, looks like we at least have some nice weather coming. So, even though we had to deal with so much ice and snow, I think we're going to be rewarded with some temperatures in the 60s. So. Well, hello there, Miss Katie. Miss Katie is claiming the sunspot on the floor now. That's my good girl. Okay, well, here's hoping that everybody has survived the rain and the floods and the storms and the tornadoes and the whatever else has happened. Oh, there's Fufu. Hello, Fufu. Fufu Finny. She's doing good, but everybody is fine. So I hope everybody survived all the crazy weather that we're having and all the crazy things going on in the world. And we'll just keep on keeping it on. But everything here is fine. Everyone here is okay. And we'll see what the rest of the week brings, huh? So I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And I hope if you're going to have some nice weather this week that you get a chance to go out and enjoy it. And we hope you guys have a good one. Okay, talk to you later.